My beloved child, sit for a moment and let your heart slow down. Do not rush. Do not hurry. Do not strive to understand immediately what I am saying. Simply let your heart open like still water receiving the first drop of morning dew. You have just passed by a sacred moment without realizing it. It was not a fleeting thought or a momentary feeling as you assumed. It was heaven knocking. A sign I sent to guide you into a season of profound transition. But you passed over it. Not because you are indifferent or hardened, but because in that moment your heart was pulled by something small. A slight distraction. A brief stir in your emotions that drew your gaze elsewhere. Do not fear, and do not condemn yourself. I do not bring this to make you bow your head in shame, but to lift your face and awaken your spirit. For those I love, I remind, and those I prepare, I stir. You are standing at the threshold of a holy season, a moment when everything on the outside appears quiet. Yet in the realm of heaven a new page is opening and your name is being spoken. You can feel it. Can't you? Something has been shifting quietly within you. A tremor you cannot explain. A stillness mixed with unease. As if your heart stands before a door whose handle it cannot yet see. That is the signal. When your emotions sway without pattern. When one day feels still as resting waters, and the next feels touched by an unfamiliar breeze that pauses your heart. This is not confusion. It is transition. And every soul being ushered into a new calling will walk through a moment when the mind and the emotions both try to take the lead. While I stand there, calling you back to my breath, I know in that moment you followed feeling, and the sign I sent drifted past like a bird gliding across the sky unseen. But hear me, not one step of yours can derail my plan. No mistake of yours can outweigh my heart for you. You missed a sign. But I did not miss you. I will send another. Heaven's current does not stop because your gaze turned for a second. I only ask you to be more awake next time. And hold this truth, this is not an easy season. This is a season where emotions will try to lead you. But I need you to follow my signals. This is the time when the noise of the world and the trembling within your heart can blur my voice. Unless you guard your inner stillness. Yet do not fear this refining season. For every season of purification comes to the soul I am preparing to take further. I speak softly, but I do not diminish the weight of this hour. You are stepping into a decisive place. Not a decision of intellect, but of heart. And the heart rests only when it rests in me. Do not run ahead of me, and do not rely on your reactions. Simply return to the whisper within, Father. You are here. I hear you. When you do that, every other voice will quiet. When you remain still, the signs will become clear. Do not be afraid of what you missed. A missed moment only calls you to awaken. It does not close your future. I will give you another sign, and it will come gentle yet sure, not with noise, but with a knowing that settles deep in your spirit. You will recognize it, not because reason conquers emotion, but because I win within you. And from this moment on, remember your steps are no longer steps searching for my will. They are steps being led. You cannot lose your way in my hands. You can only grow, my child. There are seasons in life unlike those you have walked before. There are stretches when I let you move steadily and peacefully, like a glassy lake beneath the morning sun. But there are also moments when I gently stir those waters so you will know the opposite shore is near. Not to frighten you, but to awaken you for every soul I love. I prepare before I lift. And this is such a moment, a quiet time carrying holy weight, where you feel a subtle turn within, like a page of the soul turning before your eyes can read the words. When lately your heart shifts without reason, one day calm as soft breeze, another day heavy without knowing why. This is not instability, it is a spiritual alarm. It is me letting you feel heaven's movement before the door opens. The battle you sense is not outside, it is within you, between the peace I plant and the small urgency of the flesh, between my whisper and the push of emotion, not because you are weak, but because my purpose is rising strong within your life. Do not mistake these fluctuations for failure. See them as the footsteps of a new season tapping at the doorway of your soul. I sent you a sign as gentle as wind touching leaves, as subtle as a broom sweeping across a morning porch, yet in that moment your heart followed another rhythm, and the sign passed like a bird across the sky unseen. I saw, I knew, and I do not blame you. I remind you only so you learn not to look for signs with your eyes, but with a quiet heart. For sacred signals are not sent to create noise, but to guide the ones who listen. The world seeks loudness. My child learns to hear breath. My child, from this moment on, I want you not to let your emotions run ahead of me. Emotions are not evil, yet they are not the hands that steer your soul. I am the one who holds the road for you. When your heart wants to run, stand still. When fear tries to speak loudly, be silent and listen to the voice within. When your nature urges you to act immediately, ask me, Father, does this come from you? That is not doubt, it is discernment. Those who mature in me do not hurry, they walk rightly. And right is not born from reaction, it comes from guidance. In the days ahead, the outside may look the same as yesterday, you will still wake, still warm your water, still open the door to step into the street, still move among people, still hear cars, still pass the same line of trees, but your spirit will not be the same. No one sees a tree when it sinks its roots deep into the soil. Yet that very stage determines the branches that will unfold later. I am working in what no eye sees, preparing you for what nothing and no one will be able to hide when the appointed time arrives. And when the next sign comes, it will not come as lightning tearing the skies. It will arrive like morning light resting on a quiet table, gentle but sure, not shaking, but causing your spirit to know, and you will no longer ask, is this it? Because peace within you will rise like someone recognizing their own home the moment they step in. That is how I lead, not forcing, not pushing, but guiding with peace. I do not leave you to face this crossroads alone. I go before you. I block the wrong doors. I open the right ones. I speak through the noise of many voices. But you only hear me clearly when you are still. So do not worry about the moment you missed. Worry only pulls you away from me. But stillness lets you hear me more. You do not have to hold your future. I hold it. You do not have to fear choosing wrong. My hand never loses the one whose name I called before time began. You are not being punished. You are being refined. Refining does not come through hammers striking, but through a steady inner flame. This feeling is not danger. It is weight. The weight of calling. You are not at the end. You are at the beginning of something new. And I will give you another sign. Not to test you, but to lead you with light from within. For you do not walk by understanding, you walk by knowing, and you know me. So from here, remember this: do not run ahead of me, and do not let emotion pull you away from the rhythm of peace. You are not trying to hold the path, you are being held. Everything else I will take care of. You only need to stand where your heart meets my breath. You cannot be lost in my hands. You can only grow. My child, step into stillness with me again. This is not a moment for running, but for hearing the sound of your own footsteps on the path I have placed before you. There are seasons when I let you move quickly, and seasons when I teach you to stand in deep peace. Because there are blessings that do not come through hurried strides, but through a heart that waits on my breath before breathing its own. This season does not demand effort. It demands watchfulness and gentleness in my leading. Do not fear the silence I let you taste. I am not silent because I am far. I am silent because I am so close that words are no longer needed as they once were. You are learning to hear me not merely by sound, but by peace rooted like a seed sinking deep. The deeper the root, the less the storm can sway it. And I want your roots so deep that even when the winds of emotion blow and your mind stirs, your spirit stands not by effort, but by knowing that I pace the steps, not you. When you feel yourself torn between the urge to act and the invitation to be still, do not call it confusion. It is transition. Every soul I prepare for greater things passes through the threshold between I want to go and I want to be led. Do not follow emotion simply because it arrives first. Emotions are fast. But my spirit is deep. And what is deep arrives not like a storm, but like dew. A gentle nudge passed through your spirit recently. It did not force, did not press. It only placed a quiet weight inside you. And you chose the louder feeling. It is all right. I do not close doors over one misstep. I only place my hand on your shoulder and whisper, next time. Do not listen to urgency. Listen to peace. My guidance is never rushed. I do not need to hurry you to fulfill what I have ordained before time. From now on, my child, watch your peace like a keeper of the lantern at night. Do not look at life first with your eyes, but with the brightness in your heart. When peace stands firm, you move. When peace leaves, you stop. When your heart trembles like a leaf touched by wind, no, I am calling you to turn to me, not because you are weak, but because you are being made strong in heaven's way, strong through stillness, steady through quiet, radiant through patience. Outside, nothing may seem different. You will still make your morning drink, still hear cars on the road, still place your hand on the door handle before stepping out, still look at the same blue sky. But your spirit is not what it was yesterday. I am shaping you within so that when the door opens, you will not only walk into blessing but into the very identity I named for you. No one sees the root as it grows, but the root decides the canopy. I am forming your roots, and when the new sign comes, it will not arrive to shock you, but to make your peace rise like soft light filling a room. Not logic conquering emotion, but me reigning in your heart, and then you will know without asking, no more is this right, but I see. Do not fear this quiet stretch. You are not suspended in emptiness. You are in the inner room of preparation, where those I choose are washed of old dust so they can see with spiritual eyes instead of flesh. Everyone I send walks through this holy silence. It is not punishment. It is the sacred chamber where I stitch what is fragile with the thread of eternal strength. When you want to run, I place my hand on your shoulder not to force, not to pull, but to say, stay with me. When you want to act so you do not feel still, I whisper, stillness is not emptiness. Stillness is standing inside me, and standing in me is stronger than any hurried step of mortals. Do not mistake stillness for delay, or waiting for missed opportunity. You are moving at heaven's rhythm, not the clock of the world. My breath surrounds you. My protection rests upon you. My sign will come when your heart is softly steady, not trembling, not tightened, not afraid of missing anything. You do not need to stretch your hands to seize the future. I have already placed the future into your hands. You are not in competition with anyone. You only need not to lose the rhythm of peace I give you. Because in that stillness, you hear me most clearly. You cannot lose your way when I am the one leading. You cannot lack when I am your source. You cannot be late when I am time itself. You are simply maturing within the fullness of my quiet. My child, There are mornings when you wake and the light slips through the curtains in a way that feels different. Not harsh, not radiant, but gentle. Like a hand quietly parting the curtain of your mind. You sit on the edge of the bed, feet touching the cold floor, and in that moment that seems meaningless, your heart hears a tender whisper. Just breathe. I am here. You think it is your own thought, but it is me calling you in the simplest rhythm of life. Because I do not only come in hours of prayer, I come in every breath you take without noticing. Then you step onto the balcony or open a window and watch the world begin its day. Cars passing, the hum from the street, hurried footsteps in the hallway, a metal door rolling open somewhere. Sometimes you stand there for a few seconds without knowing why. It is not fatigue, not laziness, but because your soul is listening to something deeper, the sky shifting quietly, and your angel standing there, unblinking, watching the path ahead. No one around sees, but I see eyes from the realm of light keeping you in the silence. When you hold a warm cup and the steam touches your face, you do not name it, but your heart softens. You do not understand why everything suddenly slows, but in that exact moment, you are entering my frequency. You think you are simply beginning an ordinary day, yet I am aligning your spirit with heaven's rhythm so that when I speak, you receive without effort. My child, angels do not always appear in brilliant light. Often they stand as a quiet field of peace behind your shoulder as you take the elevator, or as you wait at a crosswalk. A strange feeling sometimes settles over you. Not fear, not tension, but as if someone stands close, touching nothing yet covering you. You do not see them, but your heart is not alone. That is heaven's protection, gentler than a cloak, stronger than human arms. Sometimes when you are about to go out, your hand on the door handle, you suddenly pause for half a second. No clear reason, no alarm, just a held breath. That is not random. That is an angel lightly touching your mind, reminding you, wait, listen first. And if you step back just a little, listen a little deeper, you will feel peace, speak without words. Behind every unconscious step of your ordinary days, a holy hand guards my intention over your life. So you do not drift off course simply because of haste. Sometimes you think an arrow flies straight because it is strong, but truly it flies straight because a hand aligned its direction. And you, a soul about to enter a new season, do not fly alone. You are being steadied to fly true. Let me say this softly, like the rustle of a robe passing through a quiet room when you look outside and see people running with determined eyes. Yet your heart suddenly wants to stand still for a moment longer. That is not falling behind. That is me drawing your soul out of the rush of the world and into the width of peace. Only those who live by peace can hear divine instructions amid noise. There are souls assigned to walk with you in this season, not to display miracles, but to keep the space around your heart free from the wrong turbulence. When your heart softens, when you smooth your clothes without thinking, when you adjust your collar or tie your laces without knowing why, that is not a small gesture. That is the Spirit tuning you to the right rhythm. You do not see it all, but heaven is arranging something great. Footsteps in the realm of light walk ahead of you, clearing the way, shielding against wind, guarding the valley, so that when you walk, you think you are alone. But the heavenly escort has already gone before you. There is no ordinary day when I am with you, no moment empty when angels stand guard, no step forgotten when it rests inside my will. You do not need to know as much as you think you do. You only need to know that I know the way, and you cannot be lost in my hands. This is not a season of running. This is a season of sensing and responding. And you are learning. You are maturing. The angels rejoice to see it, and I am pleased. My child, let my words soak into the deepest place in you, where reason cannot reach but your soul knows well. What you miss does not define you. A moment out of rhythm does not close the eternal door. You missed a whisper of my sign, but I did not abandon you. In every blueprint I wrote before your form existed, I accounted for the moments when your eyes would look elsewhere, and I prepared grace so that when you return, you do not find judgment, but a father waiting. This is not a season for proving anything. This is a season for staying close to me, to receive without straining, to listen without fighting, to step forward without the anxiety of stepping wrong. The world fears not succeeding. You only fear being far from me. And that is the beauty of a soul belonging to heaven, afraid not of losing position, but of losing presence. You think you are slow, but truly you are being pulled out of the world's frantic rhythm into the pace of heaven's peace. You think stillness means stopping, but stillness is the sound of a life being forged firm. Those I prepare do not learn to walk in noise, but in inner steadiness, where peace does not depend on circumstances, but on the certainty that you are not holding the wheel alone. Do not think you are falling behind while others run. You are not following them, you are following me. In the path I design, standing true matters more than moving fast. Peace that roots matters more than dramatic victories. Quiet obedience takes you farther than striving. You are learning to distinguish my call from the pressure of fear. The one without me fears slowness. The one who has me only fears stepping outside my will. You belong to the second, and that is the clear sign that I am working in you, not through loud voices, but through my heart touching yours in the quiet. I have spoken, and I speak again. Blessing does not only rest in receiving the right thing, but in receiving it at the right time. A wrong thing can be corrected. A wrong time can weary the soul. I keep you from that weariness. I keep you from steering yourself. I keep you from chasing doors that are not yet appointed to open. And though your eyes may not yet see it clearly, your spirit has already sensed it. You are no longer restless as before, no longer gripping the future just to believe that you have one. You are beginning to know how to sit still and know that I am God. You see this, don't you? Once you needed a feeling to believe I was near. Now, quietness is enough, and you already know. That is maturity, not because you know more, but because you cling deeper, not because you have become stronger, but because you have surrendered truer. Angels still stand guard over paths you have not yet walked, keeping the doors you have not yet opened, clearing the ground you are about to enter. You do not see them, yet you are beginning to feel their protection, soft as an invisible cloak resting on your shoulders. You do not understand everything, but you know this: there is a silent keeping that goes ahead of you. And that is the sign that you are being led, not abandoned. You cannot be lost in my hands. You can only grow, and you are growing, not in noise, but in a holy stillness forming deep within your spirit. A soul maturing in the spirit is not marked by loud actions, but by the first time peace stops being a feeling that comes and goes, and becomes a nature that dwells in your bones. You are entering that. You are stepping into depth without hurry. And I delight to watch your transformation. For when you are still, I act. When you step back from the world's noise, I draw you into heaven's voice. When you do not hunt for signs, you receive signs. And when the moment arrives, you will see that it was not you discerning me, but I who kept your eyes turned toward me so you could not fail to recognize me. Walk now with the ease of a soul known by heaven's light. Do not carry pressure to be right. Carry peace because your Father is leading. And when the sign comes, you will not be surprised. You will simply smile. for you have heard me long before in the quiet. I call you not to test your strength, but to shape your being into my rhythm. Now rest your heart in me. The road ahead is not dark, it is simply not yet visible to human sight. But heaven has prepared it, and blessing is not late. It is coming to the right person, at the right hour, in the right way, in the right rhythm. There is no need to rush. You only need to stay close. I am here, and I am pleased. My child, when I lead you into a season of expansion, I do not take you into loud places, but into deep ones. For what comes from me always begins like a hidden spring before it becomes a flowing stream on the hillside. You have walked through the gate of awakening, and now I bring you into the place where stillness becomes your cloak and peace becomes the soil for your roots. Do not seek excitement, seek solidity, not instant brilliance, but the quiet light that slips gently into every fiber of your soul. In moments that seem to hold nothing, heaven is closer to you than at any time before. I tune your rhythm to mine not through grand announcements, but through the breath that glides through the unseen. And you will notice that each day you are quiet. You hear me clearer, not with your ears, but with the sweet, steady knowing that settles in your bones. This is where the soul learns to stand firm not by force, but by nearness. There will be mornings when you cannot explain why you want to slow down. To watch sunlight fall through a glass of water, to hear a spoon gently touch the side of a cup, or to let your eyes rest on a small plant on the balcony. Do not call it drifting. It is the Spirit inviting you to live fully in each moment. For in every full moment, peace gathers inside you like anointing oil. And that oil, not human determination, is what will carry you through seasons of testing. You are not called to strain yourself into strength, but to rest in mine. When you breathe slowly, heaven draws near. When you place your hand over your heart, angels pause to listen to its rhythm. When you watch a drop of water spread across the table, I am teaching you that every spiritual movement begins in gentleness. Gentle to receive, gentle to trust, gentle enough to release control. And when the heart softens, I lead. Do not mistake expansion for drums, bright lights, or the immediate feeling of rising. True expansion begins when your heart stops reacting and starts responding. When things happen, you no longer get pulled along, but you stand, breathe, and ask, where is your will in this? The world believes strength is found in fast decisions, but spiritual strength is found in stillness at the right time. And when you stand in the right stillness, my voice no longer mixes with any other. You do not need to know everything to be at peace. You are at peace because I know everything. The world teaches you to always hold on. I teach you to release at the right time. And when you release, you do not fall. You fall into my hands. Believe that in every slow step you take, my voice grows thicker, not thinner. For this is the season where I speak through rhythm as much as through words. People will not understand why your heart feels lighter, even when nothing around you has changed. They will not understand why your gaze grows deeper even as your words become fewer. Some will assume you are resting, but in truth, you are being lifted into a holy maturity. Expansion does not arrive when life blooms outward, but when the heart no longer reacts to the world, when you find you no longer fight to prove yourself, no longer hurry to catch up, no longer tighten your shoulders to appear steady. Know this, it is the sign that I am working within you, like a sprout hidden in the soil, unseen yet driving its roots deeper each day, like a grain of wheat that must fall and dissolve in order to rise in strength. And when that season unfolds, the world will call it a breakthrough, but I call it the fruit of the hours you sat quietly with me. Unseen. You are not silent because nothing is happening. You are silent because I am filling you. My child, do not fear slowness. Do not question the stillness. Do not imagine peace is merely a pause before the storm. With me, peace is a substance stronger than any storm. When you slow your steps, the order of heaven enters your life. When you do less with me, you accomplish more than those who do much without me. And when you choose to remain in stillness long enough, you do not emerge as one who escaped the old season, but as one who carries the fragrance of presence, causing darkness to retreat without you having to strain. What I am teaching you is not how to chase signs, but how to become the one who receives them. Not how to seek my words, but how to live in my frequency. And when my waves become the waves within you, you no longer search for direction. You become direction to yourself. Stay here with me. Breath will guide you. Stillness will lift you. And blessing will find the soul that has been softened to receive. There will be mornings when the light slips through thin curtains as if a gentle hand rested on your shoulder and whispered, "Wake up. Today is tender for you." No loud call. No grand instruction. Just a soft hue on the wall, causing your heart to open like a bud touched by the first warmth of dawn. This is how I come, not rushed, not loud, not forcing, simply passing through your heart like light. And when that light arrives, the soul knows something new is forming, not by echoing sounds, but by warmth sinking into the quiet. In my light, fear is not chased away by force, it dissolves by gentleness, like ice melting beneath early spring sunlight, without crack or noise, only soft surrender into water, then disappearing. You do not need to fight anxiety with clenched teeth and tight fists. Only turn your face toward me, and my sun will do the rest. Darkness has never defeated light. It only withdraws when light arrives. Do not strain to ignite your own fire. Stand where my light falls, and everything else will fall back. Sometimes you sit by the window, holding a cup of tea, watching steam rise like autumn mist, gathering itself into clouds inside a small room. That is not an ordinary scene. It is an invitation into a sacred moment. Each curl of steam rising is a reminder you are being lifted from anxiety. Each tender swirl dissolving into air is an image of what I am doing with your heaviness. I do not rip burdens from you, I transform them. I do not steal weight away, I refine it into clarity. Turn harsh into pure, turn sorrow into depth, and depth into peace. Sometimes light does not arrive through the sun, but through a thought as soft as silk brushing the mind. One word, you are enough. One feeling, there is no need to hurry. One deep breath you think came by chance, but heaven breathed with you. When peace arrives without explanation, do not dismiss it. It is heaven opening a small window for wind to enter. It is me speaking through stillness, because the fiercest word I ever spoke was not thunder on a mountain, but the gentle wind that made the heart whisper, "You are here, and you belong to me, in my light." You do not move faster, you move truer. You do not speak more, you breathe correctly. I am not teaching you to create results, I am teaching you to remain in the source from which results flow. When you stand in warm sunlight, the tree does not force itself to grow, it grows because the light feeds it. When you stand in me, you do not strive to become, you become because I am your source. And the world will see flowers, but only heaven will see the roots. And I, my child, I am tending your roots with gentle light that others cannot see. There will be days you step into the street, wind brushing through your hair, sunlight touching your eyelids, and your soul feels wrapped in a fine mist of peace. You need win nothing, prove nothing, you simply live in that breath. That is the sign that the spiritual season has turned, when you no longer hunt for peace, but peace finds you. When you no longer chase validation, but confirmation stands waiting at the door of your heart. You do not live for human eyes, you live for the soft light touching your spirit. And that is true spiritual royalty shining without noise. If a shadow drifts across your heart, do not fear. A shadow exists only where light exists. Those who belong to me do not live without shadows, they live ungoverned by them. When worry comes, do not rush to force it out, simply turn toward me. My light does not battle darkness by force, it pours light until darkness has nowhere to cling. When you dwell in me, there is no total night, only slow dawn soaking in. And slow is not weak, slow is deep. My child, every light I place within you is not only to illuminate you, but to shine through you into corners others cannot kindle. At times, that light is a gentle word when someone else is tense. At times, it is a knowing glance that needs no speech. At times, it is simply your calm presence in a room thick with strain. Light does not shout, "I am here." Light simply exists, and darkness knows it has no place. You carry light not like a blinding beam, but like dawn spreading softly and surely, unhurried yet unstoppable. Keep letting my light soften the hardened edges within you. Warm what was once cold, and clarify what once felt dim. You do not need to ask when this work will be complete. Light does not arrive by crossing a finish line. Light arrives by seeping in, and I am seeping into you, strand by strand of peace. Do not measure, feel. Do not force, trust. Do not flee from the light because you think you are unworthy. It is the light itself that makes you become what I designed. You are being led by light, not fear. You are being lifted by calm, not strain. You are being expanded by quiet, not noise. And in all of this, I am here like morning that never needs to prove itself bright. I simply am, and you simply need to remain in me. The rest, the light will handle. My child, now that the light has touched deeper into your soul and the places of shadow no longer frighten you, I want you to walk with me in a new frequency of peace where you no longer chase peace. But peace comes to find you where you no longer protect yourself from loss. Because you know nothing that is truly yours in me can slip from your hands, where the heart learns the beauty of slow steps, and the mind learns the wisdom of silence at the appointed moment. I want you to live as one who understands that nothing is fearful when heaven stands on your side. And nothing needs to be grasped hastily when blessing can never delay for the one who abides in me. You no longer prove maturity by force, you mature by a gentle breath, unshaken by wind. Many believe maturity is never crying, but I say maturity is crying in peace, crying without falling away from me, crying yet still standing. Maturity is not the absence of darkness, it is looking at the darkness and knowing the light within you is greater. You do not flee the night, you carry dawn in your chest. And this is what I am building, a dawn inside you, untouched by the clouds of this world. As you walk in this stillness, you will begin to see change, not as something that comes from what I remove, but from what I reveal within you. Before, you thought growth meant leaving the old behind. Now you see, growth is renewing the old with my light, not leaving the world, but walking in it with heaven's breath, not separating from others, but standing among them with a heart anchored in the holy. You will notice that some words from others no longer strike you as they once did, not because you are numb, but because you no longer stand on the fragile ground of reaction. You stand on the rock of knowing, knowing I hold, knowing I lead, knowing I am never rushed, knowing I am never late. And when the soul knows this, The noise outside becomes like wind, brushing glass, seen but unmoving, heard but not unsettling. This is one of the most beautiful gifts I give you in this season, the ability to remain still without being swept away. You once asked to be stronger. I answered by making you softer. For heavenly strength does not come from hardness. It comes from softness that leans wholly on me. You once thought victory meant never falling. I have shown you that victory is rising without shifting your gaze. You once thought walking with me meant always knowing where you were going. I have taught you that walking with me means knowing who leads you. And now you understand peace is not something you possess, but a place you live. Not a feeling that shifts by the day, but a spiritual atmosphere you dwell in. Like one who lives on a high mountain breathing the thin, pure air of heaven without needing to search for it. Now when you look back at your recent steps, you see clearly I did not take you through the season of breaking so you would break, but so you would become gentle like water and yet firm like bedrock that no wind of life can carry away. You no longer ask, how do I become stronger, because you have discovered that in the moment you open your hands and release control, you stand strongest. In the moment you breathe slowly, instead of reacting quickly. You hear my voice above every sound in the world. You have learned that steadiness is not strain, it is laying your heart down where I rest. And when you rest in me, power does not rush, yet it never fails. Now you walk as one who does not need to prove. You speak as one who no longer needs to hear their own echo. And you love as one who understands love does not win by overpowering, but by illuminating. And in this moment I smile over you, for you have entered the realm of spiritual maturity, where you no longer ask every great question, not because you know everything, but because you are at rest in the one who does. You do not chase peace like a thirsty wanderer in a desert. You carry peace like a living spring through barren ground. So go forward, not because you need to see the road, but because you know my light will never fade. Walk as one who may not hold a map, but holds the guiding hand. And that is the surest path of all. You have changed, and I rejoice. My breath in you has become your rhythm. Continue like this. You are not lost. You are being led. There will be days when you wake and hear nothing grand from me. No sign. No stirring in the spirit. No sudden ray of revelation in your heart. Only a quiet peace laying over the morning like a soft blanket. Do not mistake that for lack. That is fullness. Fullness so complete that outward signs are no longer required. Like two who have loved long, no longer needing constant words to prove affection. Because presence alone speaks enough. I do not need to draw attention for you to know I am here. You know because your heart is steady and no longer asks where I am. And in the very moment you no longer need to ask, you are hearing me most deeply. You will find yourself able to sit longer in silence without feeling empty. That is the sign of an inner life blooming. I do not need to move you from mountain to valley to show I am working. I simply make your heart fertile ground for my presence. And when the heart becomes soil, a single breath of wind is enough to make thoughts bloom into guidance, to turn silence into speech, to turn every breath into living water. In that place, you will no longer seek certainty as a guarantee. You will become certainty itself. Because your language is peace. Your eyes are gentle. Your steps are unhurried yet never lost. And your heart is soil soaked in light until it shines on its own, my child. From here you will begin to see the small become sacred sunlight brushing your hand, a breeze slipping beneath your collar, leaves trembling on a sidewalk, water running over your fingers as you wash them, the smell of a book opened in the morning, steam rising from a cup of tea, streetlights glimmering on wet pavement, footsteps beside someone who says nothing, what others call ordinary. you will feel as moments of presence. Where I walk, the smallest things carry the scent of heaven. And where you walk, I walk too. You will see that angels do not guard only grand gates. They stand beside the smallest second, like watchmen at the door of your awareness, keeping it from drifting with the noise of the world, not with swords, but with a gaze that darkness dares not cross, not with loud force, but with a presence that hushes the unseen. When you move through a crowded crossing and still feel peace, that is an angel. When you wish to speak, but a soft hand holds your lips from reacting, that is an angel. When a gentle thought arises instead of a sharp response, that is not discipline alone. It is an unseen hand tuning the strings of your soul. And you are learning not only to hear me, but to dwell in my frequency, where my will flows into yours like a river where no one can tell where spring water meets the stream. Remember, my child, I am not shaping a stronger, harsher version of you. I am unfolding a nature that is steady, soft, luminous, and deep. Only such a nature can carry a light that wins without fighting, that reveals without arguing, that transforms without forcing, that leads without demanding. When you walk, others will breathe easier. When you stand, others will feel less afraid. When you look, fear in them will soften, not because you strive to make it so, but because you become the quiet space where I enter their world. And when the next sign touches you, it will not come to shake you. It will fall like a drop of light into water already still. It will not disturb. It will simply sharpen the reflection of heaven upon your surface. You will not startle. You will inhale and know. It has come. No need to rush. Light does not hurry. Blessing does not run. Angels do not rush. The Father is never late. And you, in this rhythm, will no longer be fooled by urgency. You will live as one who knows they have been named, written, prepared, and now only walks forward in ever-increasing light, not in response to fear's call. When the sun rises, it does not prove itself, it simply appears, and darkness retreats on its own. And you, in me, will become a small sun like that, not shouting, not forcing, not competing, but present and illuminating. And if night comes, you will not fear, for you know the sun does not flee the night to triumph. It simply waits for its hour and rises. That is who you become in me, one who wins not by strain, but by abiding in the peace of the one who never trembles. You are stepping from the soil of earth into the light of heaven, and all you need now is to remain near. Everything else, light will handle, my child. Lift your heart with me, like one walking out of a misty valley and slowly feeling sunlight kiss the crown of their head. No one sees dawn by remaining in the lowlands. They must rise, not by striving, but by answering the call of the light. And that is what is happening in you now. I am not pulling you up in haste. I am lifting you gently, the way sunrise touches mountain peaks, without explosions, only with presence. You do not need to conquer anything to enter this dawn. You only need to belong to the light. I am here, and therefore this dawn cannot fail to arrive. There will be moments when you feel space inside widen, not the room growing, but your heart expanding, able to hold light it once could not bear. Before, you had faith. Now you have room for faith. And that is different. Like a valley still holding thin traces of night, while light begins to pour from the peaks. Your soul is in the hour where darkness cannot stay, and light has no need to rush. It comes in heaven's rhythm, slow, but unstoppable, and you know it, because your breath grows deeper, no longer drawn in need, but but breathed in sufficiency. When I lift you higher, things do not shrink so you look down on them. They fall into right place so you see clearly. Fear does not vanish at once. It simply recedes like a long shadow curling at the foot of the mountain beneath rising sun. Worries are not chased out by force. They fade in the brightness of my day. And your heart will feel something wondrous. You no longer need to fight the night. For you now stand where night cannot reach. This is not victory by effort. This is victory by rising. Do you see it? My child, morning on the mountain does not arrive with trumpets. It arrives with the kind of silence everything understands. Trees, wind, cold stone, quiet earth, and even the human heart grow still to hear the sun open its eyes. This is how I am opening yours, not with shouting, not with urging, but by shining. And when light comes, you do not need to strain to define right and wrong. Light itself draws the boundary. Those who walk without me argue with words. Those who walk with me carry answers simply by presence. You will still hear the rhythm of the world below the mountain, the hurried calling, the small arguments, the fast steps of those afraid of being late. But here, the wind breathes differently. The air is thin, yet gentle. The cold touches you, but it blesses. Nothing in this place pushes, crowds, or demands. It simply allows the soul to open like a door, overlooking a valley wrapped in first light. And you will understand where light abounds. Fear does not die by force, but by starvation. I call you upward not to separate you from others, but so you may carry light back to where they stand. Those who stand on mountains do not scorn the valley. They simply see farther. I do not teach you to rise so you may flee them. I teach you to see from heaven's angle so you can lead them out of fear. Light is not arrogant. Light hides and heals. You do not represent heaven's strength by roaring. You represent it with eyes that know heaven is drawing near and dawn is rising. There will be moments you stand still and feel your heart stretch like the sun lifting itself over the ridge, not stretched by worry, but swollen with fullness. When you are full of peace, you cannot hide. Light never asks permission to spread. It spreads because it is its nature. And so will you. When I fill you, you will not shine by effort, you will overflow. And those beside you will not understand why suddenly they want to breathe slower. Think kinder thoughts. Speak less. Believe more. They will not name it. They will simply know you carry dawn. So from here, do not fear heights. Height is not distance from the world. Height is closeness to me. Do not fear brightness. Light does not erase you. It restores you to yourself. When light enters, what in you comes from heaven becomes clear, and what in you comes from fear becomes visible to be healed, not exposed to shame, but revealed to be restored. This is the privilege of those I lift. They are not stripped bare. They are illuminated, so they may be mended. You will see the shift. You will no longer say, Lord, keep me. You will begin to say, I walk in you. For those who stand in light do not worry about shadow. They simply continue. They do not fear getting lost. The road glows. They do not fear being wrong. Heaven's eyes lead. They do not fear lack. Dawn always carries a new day with it. You do not wait for the sun to rise. The sun has risen within you. And now, only this, when you feel a gentle wind touch your face. Remember me. When you look down and see the valley mist thinning, know it is the picture of your heart. When you look at the sky without walls, breathe deeply. When the light touches your eyes, let it touch your heart. I am not only giving you light, I am making you become light. Not light that boasts, but light that guides those searching for the way. My child, dawn does not teach with sermons. Dawn teaches by appearing and standing until everything wakes. You have learned stillness. Now you are learning brightness, and I am pleased. For the light you carry will not merely show you your path, it will revive those who walk near you. That is why I brought you up here, not to leave you alone. But so from here on, you descend not with burden, but with brightness. What lies ahead does not require strain, it requires radiance. Stand here a little longer with me. Do not ask what comes next. Light does not ask for the hour, light rises. And you, beloved dawn, I am lifting, you are rising too. And now, my child, when your heart is quiet enough to hear and bright enough to see, know this deeply, you do not walk this season alone. Not a single moment belongs only to you and your thoughts. Heaven does not watch from afar, heaven walks with you. And the angels, the silent companions of the kingdom of light, are no longer merely stationed, they are moving with you, not to walk in place of you, but to ensure every step you place on the earth falls exactly where it is meant to fall. This is the most delicate intervention, not dramatic miracles, but the silent escort of the higher realm for a soul that must not step even slightly off its destined path in a defining season. You have felt it, have you not? There are moments you walk down a hallway, descend a staircase, cross a familiar street, and the air feels just a little thicker, not frightening, not mysterious, but sacred, as though someone placed an invisible mantle upon the atmosphere around you. Sometimes you stop your hand just before sending a message, or you turn as if someone called, though no voice sounded. Do not call it coincidence. It is heaven's guard adjusting the smallest frequencies of your path, not to spare you from life, but to align you to walk through life on heaven's wavelength. Angels do not do the walking for the soul, they create space for the soul to see clearly. Hear sharply, stand firmly, and step rightly. They do not act so you may avoid choosing, they act so you may choose light. One of their sacred duties is to touch your thoughts before they solidify into action. Sometimes you are about to react as you once would, but your heart slows as if a gentle hand rests on your chest. Sometimes a sentence rises, yet your lips soften and close, not from hesitation, but because heaven's wisdom arrived first. Sometimes you lean toward an old pattern, and instead, your gaze lifts higher, away from worry. These are not personality traits, they are lessons become nature, and angels witness every step of it. They go ahead before you leave home. They stand beside you when you enter places where motives are hidden. They guard when your eyes look toward the future, and others look at you with intentions unlike my own. Not because you must fear people, but because every strong light attracts great attention. And heaven does not allow my designs to be disrupted by small desires of men. You are not small. The plan on you does not permit small steps. And angels stand to remind the shadows that here stands one, marked by heaven. Have you noticed the shift in your rhythm? Gone are the sudden waves of unrest. Now there are deep rests that sharpen your heart before you speak or decide. When angels stand near, the soul does not stay alert through fear. It stays awake through peace. It does not shrink, it opens. Yet guarded, it opens not to become fragile, but to receive heaven. And when you open rightly, darkness finds no gap. Where fear still lingers, angels guard. Where light has already come, they simply stand still. Anchors of kingdom authority. Do you sense the difference in your steps? Before, you walked with a slight tilt, as one still feeling out the path. Now your steps are round and steady, like one who knows the destination cannot change. Those around you will not understand why you are not hurried, not alarmed, not competing, not needing to prove anything. They do not know you have a heavenly guard behind your soul, and one who is guarded does not race against the fears of the world. When I send angels ahead of you, you do not need to break ground. You only need to walk in the right direction, and you are walking rightly. In the days ahead, there will be moments when you will feel peace rise from its seat and walk beside you, not a dramatic rush, but a firm stillness, like a stone set in the river. That is not merely peace, that is protective presence. And it does not come to replace my presence, it comes to guard the space so you can hear me without interference. For when the door is about to open, noise increases, and heaven will not allow any sound to distort the signal meant for you. This season is not only about stepping, this season is about listening and stepping. When angels walk close, you will notice something else. Your softness cannot be exploited. The world thinks softness is weakness, but in heaven, softness is the mark of a guarded soul. Those without protection harden to defend themselves. Those backed by heaven soften and yet cannot be shaken. That is what you are becoming, without spikes, yet unbreakable. Without strain, yet unmoved. People may not understand, but they will feel it. And they will treat you differently, not out of fear, but out of respect for your frequency. And when the new sign arrives, you will not run to catch it. The sign will enter at the exact moment angels open the still space for it to touch your heart. Then you will not only hear my will, you will witness how heaven prepares the atmosphere for my will to enter without effort. That is not coincidence. That is my sovereignty, which darkness cannot challenge. My child, this is the moment you begin to understand true safety, not safety because you have a plan, but safety because you carry an invisible court. Not safety because challenges disappear, but because no challenge can erase the mark I place upon your brow. You are not sent alone. You are commissioned with divine escort. That is why you no longer seek proof. You are the proof. That is why you no longer fear being slow. You are on heaven's time. And that is why you no longer look down at things others envy. You are living in knowing. Look, you are already near the door. Not the door of earthly noise, but the door of clear discernment and ripened blessing. Angels do not draw this close when the path is long. They draw close when the hinge is about to turn. And this door does not open by force, it opens by frequency. You are carrying the right frequency already. Simply stay near me. Heaven will handle the rest. Now, my child, as this silent journey brings you to the final breath of this moment, I do not come to close, but to anoint the next step. This is not an ending. This is the instant the soul stands still to receive what belongs to it before the door opens, like a priest laying his hand on the chosen one before sending them. I place my hand upon your forehead now, not a hand of flesh, but the hand of light, covenant, and unchanging protection. This warmth is not from a season, it is from eternity. Stand in this sacred stillness, for this is the hour of anointing for a soul who has learned to carry my breath within. I pour upon you spiritual oil, not the oil of applause, but the oil of silent recognition from heaven. Not oil for stages, but oil for altars unseen. Not oil to make you praised, but oil that keeps you from falling when winds shift and time turns. In this hour, I anoint not only your mind, but your will, so it does not bow to emotion, tremble at circumstance, or wander after rival voices. I anoint your eyes, so they do not seek light from the earth, but from the place where I dwell. I anoint your ears, so they discern my whisper among 1,000 ripples. I anoint your heart, so it is no longer a bowl that spills easily, but a vessel of peace that does not waste, does not break under storms. When I place my seal upon your forehead, it does not mean life's winds stop blowing. It means the winds lose their power to direct you. You will feel the wind, but you will not follow it. You will see others move from fear, but you will stand. because you know who holds your pillars. I do not bring you into peace to hide you. I anoint you to send you as peace. Peace is the armor of those who belong to me. When the world carries weapons in hand, you carry heaven's frequency of stillness, and the enemy cannot break a soul whose root and breath are peace. My child, stand still in this moment like one standing beneath the candlelight of the ancient sanctuary, where every breath was a prayer, every drop of oil carried a lineage, and every silence was the dwelling place of the Holy One. I place upon you the soft cloak of my presence. It does not weigh like stone, yet it carries a gravity that makes darkness retreat when you walk. It does not thunder like storm clouds, yet the ground of the soul trembles when you stand still. Under this cloak, you do not search for a role. You receive a holy identity already called. Now, close the eyes of your heart. You need not shut your eyelids if they are open. Simply bring your spirit to the place where my touch rests. Feel that gentle weight upon your forehead, not a weight that presses, but a seal that names. I inscribe my heart upon your spirit not with letters, but with light and breath. You belong to me, not in the way the world stamps ownership, but the way a father writes his child on his heart. And when heaven writes, no force it can erase, no voice can blur, no night can hide the name. From this moment, you walk with the mark of one who has been sent, not sent to run, but to walk rightly, not sent to conquer others, but to conquer the fear that once tried to define you, not sent to make noise, but to carry atmosphere into places where there was only noise before. You do not walk with your own strength. You walk with heaven standing behind you. My child, the moment of anointing is not merely a moment of receiving, it is a moment of transfer. From now on, your life will not be dictated by fleeting emotions. From now on, circumstances will not pull the strings of your heart. From now on, you will no longer ask, what is happening to me, but instead, what is being born within me? This is the language of the anointed. They do not tremble before seasons. They discern them. They do not seek signs to know I am at work. They move, and signs appear along the way. I place oil upon your feet to stand firm. So when you step into places where others panic, you stand like an unshaken pillar. When you enter a room tense with strain, your breathing makes the air lighten. You do not bring skill first, you carry heaven's atmosphere. And one who carries heaven does not need to hurry. They simply need to walk rightly and walk present. Present long enough for peace to settle. Present deep enough for fear to retreat. Present bright enough for someone to remember they, too, were made for light. I place upon your hands a gentle oil, so that whatever you touch is healed before it even has time to resist. So your words do not merely comfort ears, but soften the armor of those who have grown used to battle. You do not come to break walls by force. You come so walls collapse under peace. This is how heaven wages war, not loud, yet unstoppable. Now receive the oil of guarding, not to make you suspicious of people, but to discern what does not belong to the light. On the path ahead, some voices will try to drag your heart back to old rhythms, old fears, old reactions. But this oil will make those voices slide off you like water sliding off stone shaped by a river. They will not cling. They will not stain. They will not define you anymore. Words that once unsettled you will become nothing more than wind passing over a tiled roof. And instead of tightening inside, your spirit will simply breathe deeper. Now I anoint you with one last thing, the oil of remembrance, so that you remember me even when life tries to pull you away. So that you remember who holds your breath, who touched your eyes in the dark, who lifted your head when you thought you were falling. So that you remember, blessing does not come because you perform enough. Blessing comes because you stay in the right source. and you have found the source. I will not let you drift simply because the world grows busy. The oil of remembrance will whisper, return to breath, return to the Father, not to accuse, but to call you home. My child. This anointing does not end with loud music. It ends with peace, standing firm in your bones. Others may not hear it, but you do. Others may not carry it, but you do. This is the moment I hand you the key of stillness, not to lock life away, but to open each day in heaven's frequency. Now stand one moment in silence. Do not think. Do not try to feel. Simply know. I am here. I go before you. I station angels to your right and left. I cover behind you and open ahead of you. You carry no burden. You carry a seal. Some signs of heaven arrive like drops of light falling on water. If the heart rushes, they pass unnoticed. If the soul rests, they are seen. And if your inner spirit stirred while hearing this, know this is not coincidence. This is calling. Heaven does not strike loudly for those who run. Heaven touches softly for those who stand. Today, your soul has stood rightly. This is not content. This is oil and seal. The moment your name is spoken slowly in eternity. The whisper of the one who never left. You do not walk alone. Do not hurry back to old rhythms. Carry this peace like an invisible cloak upon your shoulders. Walk as one who has seen what others have not yet seen, heard what others have not yet heard, and knows what only heaven can plant in a heart. If your soul desires to stay in this frequency, remain here. Not for algorithms, but so no sign is missed again. Follow not to follow, but because here you found peace not of earth but of heaven. If there is a bell, turn it on if you wish, not to chase anything, but to receive what arrives in heaven's timing. And if someone rises in your heart as you hear these words, send this to them not as one sharing a link, but as one carrying light. Heaven does not seek many. Heaven seeks the right ones. Heaven seeks the awake. Heaven seeks those who know peace is not a feeling, but the standing place of a soul belonging to the kingdom. You have heard. You have received. Now walk on. Not hurried. Not trembling. Not needing to prove anything. Light goes before you. Angels walk beside you. Oil still rests on your brow. Meet me here again, not as one meeting another, but as a soul meeting the breath of heaven. Go now. Gentle, still, bright, deep, and remember, heaven walks with you. May the Lord's words continually remind you to live each day in His faith and His love. Remember to follow and turn on notifications so you never miss the sacred and meaningful messages God desires to speak to you. May the Lord bless you abundantly. Amen.